Guys, do not do this right here. This is the #1 thing you don't want to do. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be installing the new radio inside the 7.3. We're finally going to have Apple CarPlay in that $19.99. It's going to be sweet. This truck needs a radio. It's still at the stock radio. It's still at the stock speakers. So if you missed a couple videos ago, we put this power acoustic Apple CarPlay radio in my wife's car, and she loves it so far. But we did test out. The speakers did suck compared to her stock speakers, but my speakers, on the other hand, are 23 years old, and I know the passenger front one is blown. It rattles no matter what sound the volume, no matter what volume the radio is on, no matter what sound comes out of the speaker, it rattles. So I know for a fact it is blown. But today we are going to be putting in, we've got a wiring harness for the radio, we've got our removal kit, and guys, all of this will be linked down below. So we've got our dash kit right here, and then I am going to be putting subs in the back of this truck. I actually already have the subs. The subs are in my single cab 1985 F-150. It's a shallow mount double 12 box. It's got 2 kicker competition subs in it, and I've had those since high school, but that truck does not need subs in it. It doesn't go anywhere. It's a trailer tween. There's no reason for it to have subs in it. We got a audio install kit. This was brand new from Amazon, and that's how it showed up. All beat to shit like that. So hopefully everything is inside it. But we're not going to be installing the subs in this video. I'm going to save that for its own video, but we are going to install our RCA cables so I don't have to pull the dash back out. I feel like that was a smart thing to do on my part. We'll install the RCA cables and our auxiliary wire for our amp. And then we'll also be putting in the radio, and we'll probably put in the speakers. Now, the F250 came factory with 4 6x9s in each of the door. Each door has a 6x9 in it. Well, these are 6.5s. So I might have to modify something just to get these to work temporarily. This is not a permanent fix, but this is a fix until I can order some other speakers. And if this will sound better for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, who knows, until I order speakers, then I'd rather it sound better until then. So we're gonna get to putting everything in the truck today. So here is the stock radio, and our removal tools will slide in there and pop this out, and then we'll just unplug it, and our new harness will plug directly into it, and then we just wire everything up from there. But for precautionary measures, I am going to disconnect the battery just because I don't want to blow a fuse anywhere or ruin anything. Doesn't this ranch hand just look so good on this truck? It looks so much better. And we did get the headlights in for these, so I'll be making a video on that here very soon, throwing those in the truck so we can actually see at night. So we're just going to remove the positive terminal on each side of the battery, remove it from this side and remove it from that side. And a big shout out to Brandon_LTZ for these gear wrenches. They are definitely going to make a big freaking difference when it comes to getting things off instead of just using a normal wrench or trying to fit a ratchet in there. It just makes a big difference. Alright, so let's start off with our radio, our removal tools, all stuff like that. And push everything over there. We're not going to need any wrenches for this job, at least I hope not. Smooth. Oh, seatbelt in the butt. It's always a nice feeling. Now, we will probably have to trim this off, but that's no big deal. Look at that nice brand new looking dash, thanks to the old man that took very good care of this truck. So now we will need our removal tool. Ford, it's your last day being factory, my guy. Oops. How the hell did that happen? Yeah, I'm about to fucking just beat the shit out of this thing. Now it's not giving me the tools back. So there's issue number one. This thing's a bitch. Thank you, f***ing Jesus. You're a joke, radio. You're an absolute joke. And Ford, you're an asshole for ever putting it in here like this. Who the hell spliced wires into this thing with duct tape? Piece of shit. Okay, so now I get to figure out what the hell this mess is. So there should be a wiring diagram on this. Let's look up a diagram. Light green and violet is our constant power. So whatever the hell. Who the hell uses duct tape as electrical tape? Guys, do not do this right here. This is the number one thing you don't want to do. I have no idea what the hell that even goes to. But luckily, these wires are fine. I can just wrap electrical tape around that and it'd be okay. Oh, this is disgusting. My fingers are all sticky now. So someone's had this radio out in the past, which I don't know, that might be why it was such a pain in the ass to get out a second time. Oh my god, this thing's corroded too. Who the f uses duct tape? Guys, and this is why I unhooked the battery. Stupid ass radio. Sorry. Wiring harness. Let's just hope this thing plugs in right. That is always a good sign. And your yellow is your constant. And this thing tells us. Your yellow is your constant. Your red is your ignition switch. So that's what this black and red wire is the ignition switch. So this is what our amp wire is going to connect to. Our black is our chassis ground, which is this guy right here. All right, everything should be set now. Now we're just gonna wire in our radio. So we're gonna get this all taken out and get going with this. Paused all of this because I have a backup camera for the truck, which is this wire right here. Funny story is, the backup camera is actually from the radio I bought for Michaela's car. It came with a backup camera. Her car already had a backup camera, so I didn't put it in because her car already had a backup camera. Well, then we had issues with the radio and sent it back, and you know, just for my time and effort and everything, I kept the backup camera. I don't know. Bad me, haha. Well, we got a backup camera for the truck, and I was trying to find where the reverse signal wire was, and I got to looking, and this truck has an aftermarket CD player underneath the back seat. Okay, old guy had this truck before me. CD players were a big thing. If you're a 2000s baby, odds are you don't even know what a CD player is. But this truck had an aftermarket CD player installed, and that's what all the BS wiring was with the duct tape. Well, I got to pulling the CD player out, which is this thing right here, and it had this big box module. I don't even know where the hell I put it. I think that's it. Right down there, that thing right there. But it had this big box module that had all these different wires coming out of it, and I found the original antenna wire, so we're gonna plug this into the radio. And this was a signal wire going to the radio for the CD player, and then I ended up pulling stuff apart, and I found an alarm system on this truck. This alarm system is from like 1973. Old as shit. You can't even find this model online anywhere. It's a CG5000. What the hell is it called? Crime Guard Car Security CG5000C. You cannot find it anywhere online. But they had the power and ground spliced in to this main harness right here. I pulled it out, so it no longer has any power. Luckily, the batteries are unhooked. I have reason to believe these are going to the headlight sensors because there's like a little bit of a wiring diagram on here. So your yellow is your 12 volt, your violet is your door positive, your blue is your trigger negative, green is your door negative, gray is your valet switch, orange is your starter, and black is your ground. So the orange wasn't even connected. The yellow was connected. And I don't see a red wire on here. Is there a red? Red was 12 volts, so that was connected. Our yellow and red were connected. Our orange was not. So I already disconnected those. This gray and black, what does it say? Gray is valet switch, black is ground. So this was a switch you could press to put it in valet mode. It was hidden up underneath here. So no one would even press that. It was just out of the way. So now we gotta find the rest of our wires. There's this module right here. It's going way back into the dash. This thing is going up here, which I have reason to believe it's going to the headlight switch. I don't think it's going to the door. I think it's going to the headlights, which when you open the door, the dome light turns on. I have a feeling it's connected to that somewhere. So I'm gonna get to taking all this off. Slid that off, and there's like nothing even in here. I'm missing a battery or something. But if I could have bought a replacement key fob for this, I might have kept it, but I don't like the thought of someone else's car alarm being on my vehicle. I'm not worried about the old man stealing the truck or anything like that, but I don't want it there and it cause issues and have issues with the truck starting down the road. So funny story, about 3 months ago, like literally a week after I bought the truck, I hooked an OBD2 scanner to it. Does it? I've got an OBD2 scanner that shows like the live feed, shows different like fluctuations and your temperatures and stuff like that. And I connected that to it to like see if I could watch a live feed, and it shut my truck off. Like immediately, like killed my truck. And I was like, oh, okay, unplugged it, and I have not plugged it in since. And now I'm wondering if it was a safety feature from this car alarm that shut my truck off. So we're gonna get all this taken off. I'm gonna do it all off camera because I gotta chase a lot of wires on this radio install. Turn into some crazy wire chasing BS, but I'm gonna take all the shit out of the truck. I don't need a CD player. Where the CD player is mounted is where I'm gonna put the amp. So gotta get all this stuff out anyways, and I want it all done right. Anywhere where there's exposed wires, I'm wrapping an electrical tape. Realistically, you should probably like cut them, heat shrink them, solder them, everything like that. But the wires haven't been cut. They've just been spliced back and had the wire wrapped around them. So I'm just gonna throw electrical tape over them and all should be good. They're not in the weather, they're inside the truck. But I'll pick you guys up once we got everything taken out of the truck. All right, a short while later, I have it all out. Really wasn't that terrible. Whoever installed this does not like to do stuff the right way. What was spliced into the door wires, as you see I have the door panel off, they spliced directly here in the junction, which you never want to splice there, guys. That is the worst place to splice, because if this gets a loose fit right here and water gets inside there, where your connection is the first place it's going to corrode. So if you have to tap into the door, either try to tap into a door fuse underneath the dash, or run your wire through this boot into the door and tap in somewhere over here. So they are actually tapped into this pink wire and this pink wire. So we know these go to the door itself, but this is where they were tapped into, just right in here. So I went ahead extended that wire since they had cut it and used butt connectors into it. I extended it to make my life a little bit easier, reconnecting everything. Then they had this gray wire right here. They had this tapped in to the headlights, and unfortunately this switch panel right here would not come out on its own, so I had to pull the entire dash bezel off to pull this out. I got it pulled out, got everything disconnected, and used electrical tape to cover up the bare wires. I will be using electrical tape on these two wires right here. I had to re-butt connect these wires in here, and besides that, that's everything that they were spliced into. So now we're just gonna get the CD player BS out of here and have to disconnect it somewhere. All right, so I don't remember exactly where I was at. I was talking to a neighbor, but we got to get the rest of the DVD player stuff out. We got all the security bullshit out. We got all the wires covered up. Now we just need to get our CD player shit out and go on from there. Might have to cut this short today and finish this up tomorrow. I got some stuff I need to do, but only one way to find out, and that's to do it. All right, guys, next day I did just get our switched power wire ran for our amp. So this is our switched ignition wire. This is what will turn on when you turn the key on. It is plugged into the radio. I've got our amp wire plugged into it, so this will run back to our amp. As you can see down there, I did get everything out for the CD player and the back seat. So this was mounted underneath the dash. Then we had another wire and a power wire coming through here. I ran it all the way out. It was tucked all down in here. I've got it all the way ran. It goes underneath the back seat back there where the CD player currently is at. I'm not going to be taking that out in this video. I will save that for when I do the amp. Because of where it's mounted, I might as well just mount the amp in that same spot, and I believe I'm going to have to pull the seat out to get it. So we're going to save that for its own video, but for this video we're going to get this radio put in. But like I said, I've already got the amp wire ran. We've got our power wire right here. We're just going to keep going through the process of wiring up all of our wires. So this is your illumination wire. This is what will make the radio light up whenever you turn your headlights on. This would be connected to the same lights that are in, or the same wire that turns on the lights in your dash and everything. If you've never done a radio like this, I'm going to try and show you guys a little bit of everything. So this is your ground wire. This is what's going to ground out to this black wire here. Wiring harnesses like this are commonly sold, part stores, Walmart, Best Buy. I got this off Amazon. That's where I found the best deal at. That's where I bought everything at. So I will have links down to everything down below between our dash kit, our amp wiring kit, our radio harness, and as well as the radio right here. We'll have a link to each product from Amazon. I normally find my best prices from everything from Amazon. I tend to shop around. You don't want to overpay for something that you can get cheaper somewhere else. And then, so this would be a T wire. So if you have like steering wheel controls, like volume up and down, you can wire that into the radio. There's normally 2 T wires. You're going to have one that says T2 and one that says T1, which this green wire says T1. This black wire is our ground. And then we have an amplifier wire. This would go to a stock amplifier in the radio. So if you have a vehicle with like a Bose sound system that comes factory with an amp somewhere in the vehicle, if you have any type of Premiere sound system in the vehicle, it's normally an upgraded option. That wire would plug into that, but I don't think this truck has that. Normally you just match up your wires, and I don't see a blue wire in this one, so I'm just going to assume that there's no amplifier wire. And I believe that is all for our wires. We have our illumination. Our red is our 12-volt accessory, so that's normally connected to your ignition. Our yellow is our 12-volt constant. This comes straight from the battery. Your illumination wire, your amplifier wire, your switch ground, your constant ground, and then your 2 T controls. That's all about that goes into that. And then the rest of these are all speaker wires, and we're not running an amplifier at this time for our door speakers. That will be something in the future, but guys, it's really so easy that everything's color coded. You just match your colors to what's coming out of this harness, and it's that simple for you. Just match your colors and you're good to go. So I'm gonna get the wiring all this up and see you guys when it's all finished.
Alright, so this video kind of got mixed up in between, and I'm going to explain it really quick. So while I was recording for the last couple, like 5-6 months, there's this kid that drives like 90 miles an hour through my neighborhood. Well, I got him on camera and I called the cops on him, and the cops never came. They rode by like 6 hours later, slowed down at my house, drove away, probably hitting their computer like, hey, we went to the call, and kept going. I know, caring of me, right? Well, there's kids in my neighborhood. I don't care. Call me what you want. But cops never came. Next day, cops still never came. Kid kept doing it. This is now like 2 weeks later. Cops still never came. Kid still does it every single day. Slowed down for a little bit and then started right back up. He was doing it last night. So this video got a little bit mixed up with that. I decided to keep the clips out of it because it was going to make this video a lot longer and probably more boring and harder to follow. I talked about the cops here at the end, and I apologize. It kind of messed up how I was filming with the radio. The last thing you guys are going to see is me doing the wiring harness, and then it skips to a completely different day, and I've already done the backup camera and everything like that, and I show you the rest in the video. So I'm sorry for the little mix up, but just in case this kid watches my channel, I don't want to give him the satisfaction of even seeing his truck or anything flying through my videos or anything like that. If you do watch my channel, I would love to meet up with you in person. Leave it at that. So continue watching. Thanks, guys.
Back to the radio, that's what this video is about. We have the backup camera is completely wired. Let me show you guys where I have it mounted. So it's not the most ideal spot, but I worked with the length of the wire that I had. So originally I wanted to mount it right here. That's where these two holes are, but because of the way the camera is set up, it was actually upside down when it was right there. So it is now right there. And it is zip tied because I did not have any bolts that are that small. In reference to my fingertip right here, hopefully you guys can see that. See how small those holes are? So I just used super small zip ties, and that's what ended up working. So we have it completely ran. The wire for the trigger on it is to this reverse light. If you have this style truck, the black with pink stripe wire is your reverse wire. So it's ran all the way down the frame, and I found a grommet underneath the carpet. Right here, there was a grommet that I ran that wire through and then siliconed it off so we wouldn't have any leaks. And then this is the trigger for the radio. So the other end of this wire is going to that pink and black wire, and then this to the reverse wire. Have everything wired up here. Our amp wires are ran, our amplifier wire is ran. Those go down the dash. They come out right there in that wire loom. Come out in the wire loom. They run behind the pedal. They go underneath the carpet. Come over to this side and then straight down through here. And they come out. Probably help if I unlock the door, right? They come out right here for the time being. Everything is all wire loomed up. Like I said, I'm gonna have to pull the back seat out to put the amplifier underneath there, so that's when I'll run everything appropriately. Then I still would have to run the power wire for the amp. But like I said, this video is not about the amp. This video is about getting the radio in, and I am going to be putting the door speakers in because now this radio is working. I've been driving like that for the last 24 hours with it like that. I had to go help my buddy Trevor last night and just left the radio like that, sitting on the seat. So what you have to do for the dash on these trucks in order to fit a doubled in, at least with this one, a lot of the videos say you just have to trim this bottom lip right here. There's a little lip across both sides that you just have to trim that, but I've stuck my radio up to it and I'm gonna have to trim the top lip as well. So I just went to Harbor Freight and I got a small file, which is this guy right here. We're gonna use it to smooth that out, and then I got this little saw thing that's used for cutting through plastic. I was gonna buy a Dremel, but honestly, I don't want to spend $30 on a Dremel just for this one job. Probably won't have to use a Dremel again for a while. I know I could just use the tool, but all the other cheap Dremels I've bought from Harbor Freight, I've bought 2 of them and they've both broke very, very fast. So just went ahead, bought the saw. I can use the saw on other stuff. So and it was only like $7. So we're gonna get all that trimmed. I'm not gonna even bother with the Adobe Pro. This video is long enough with all the hectic shit that's went on. So let's get this trimmed. All right, a couple hours later, radio is completely in. It's not done. Did come with this faceplate cover thing, but I don't think it's going to work. I think it's too big because it doesn't fit in the dash. But I have not put the mounting brackets on it yet, just because I have a external microphone to pair with this, but it's in my wife's car and my wife is at work. So that's not gonna happen in this video, but this is what it would look like all finished up. Now I'm gonna get to installing the door speakers, but this thing is all in. Let's turn it on and show you guys. So I did unplug it, so there we go.
It's really an incredible. It's home sweet home.
What's your $1 billion?
Working just right. Go ahead and mute that. Then I would just plug in the charger right here to bring up Apple CarPlay, whatever. Got our radio.
And the way it might have been without you here.
And the backup camera. Just like that. Look at all these nice amenities that the truck now has. I'll wait for my wife to get home tonight before I can get the microphone and fully finish this thing up. But all that it does is you get the mounting screws, you mount it to the side of the radio with this, and then this literally just slides into the dash, and then it's got these little tabs right here on the side. See how those little lips are lifted up? Those will pop back into the original spot where the original radio was. Pops right into place and you're all done. So now get the door speakers in because these 23-year-old speakers are shot. All right, so I have permission to use this song, so let's go for it.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 stick, you can get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 stick, you can get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
That's not bad. For $105. I used all the speakers that came with it, and then the radio, I had to buy the dash kit, I had to buy the harness. That's about it. It didn't even came with the wire to hook up the speakers, so I didn't have to buy any fittings. I just had to buy the dash kit, buy the harness, the radio. So I'm like $130 into this radio, besides the file and thing that I had to buy for the dash. But I mean, that wouldn't be for every vehicle. That was just for this vehicle. But $130. I've got Apple CarPlay. I've got a doubled in touchscreen radio, 4 new speakers all the way around. They're not great speakers, but they're a hell of a lot better than what I had before. I'm telling you, the passenger front and the driver rear speakers were blown. They had vocals. If there was any bass, they just rattled the entire freaking time. So much better. And hopefully this video wasn't that terrible to watch. I know this video is all over the place, so I apologize. Over a majority of 3 days, so it's been hard to keep up with, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure while you're here, hit the like button, drop down a comment below what you'd like to see. While you're down there, might as well hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.